Hello, and welcome to Rethinking Change. I'm Pat West. So let's start right in with a riddle. Here's a list of thought leaders in fields like finance: Robert Kiyosaki, Napoleon Hill; science, Greg Braden; healing, Joe Dispenza; energy work, Dana Eden, Jeffrey Allen; hypnosis, Marissa Peer; martial arts, Bruce Lee. The list goes on, but the question is, what do they have in common? By the end of this video, you'll have the answer to that question, as well as an appreciation for what Rethinking Change has to offer you, as well as those you care for. In addition, I'm going to be sharing what the Book of Change has to be saying about the COVID-19 pandemic. That Book of Change, as you'll come to find out, is the foundation of energy science as well as Tai Chi. It's the missing link that we need now to both survive and thrive in this intense, polarizing time of extremes. I think you'll find what it has to say interesting. But now I suppose by now you're wondering who I am to be saying all this. There is a long story because I have lots of stranger than fiction stories to share with you in good time, but here's the short version. I was trained as a musician, played piano, string instruments, guitar, bit of sitar, but primarily violin, which I shared in common with my man Einstein, who is also a violinist. The music led me to yoga and to the magical, marvelous Book of Change, which maps the laws of nature, the repeating cycles of history, which everyone, everywhere shares in common. It's been used for over 8,000 years by leaders in every imaginable walk of life all over the world as a decision-making tool. It's used to bypass danger, optimize opportunities, and maintain balance in the midst of change. The psychologist Carl Jung wrote an introduction to the Wilhelm Baines version. He taught us to use it as a way to make the unconscious conscious. I wrote my own version of the book in 1975, actually. It still works for me. My idea was it shouldn't be so tough, and it should be made available to everyone. You can find it on Amazon. It's called The Common Sense Book of Change. By the late 1970s, I earned a PhD in educational administration. I'd gone from putting books on the shelves that weren't there when I needed them to earning the credential to build schools to fill that information gap, what I call the fatal gap in what we're being taught in schools. I've been growing with the book for over 40 years now, taking it in every imaginable situation to understand the dynamics of human behavior. It's been a good friend and a mentor. More than once, it has saved my life. If you want to know more, you can check out my website. It's rethinkingsurvival.com. There's several posts. One of them is the I Ching and me. Another is how the Common Sense Book of Change came to be. But what you really need to know about me is summed up in my latest book, which is called You Are Already Enough, and How Would Your Life Change If You Really Believed It. There I give you my why, how, and what. The why is to pay back the blessings I've received over a lifetime, and I experience it as a calling. The how has been to write, blog, teach an occasional class, and now creating content for this channel. So what? The end result that I'm aiming for is to restore sanity to a badly fractured world one person at a time. So the Book of Change is one self-awareness tool, but then it gets even more interesting. The spin-off came when I applied Yoga Sutras to Einstein. You take the life wheel that repeats through all civilizations, all times, familiar to meditators, and then you add the variables of Einstein's formula. M equals mass, E equals energy, C equals light. You plug them into the deeper levels of the life wheel, and the result is the unified field theory, including the consciousness factor. Einstein already had it, but for lack of yoga training, had missed it. Okay, then. It looks like this. So just like the Qing's repetitive cycle of hexagrams, this quantum pattern of creation also repeats throughout nature on every scale of magnitude, from smallest to largest, from atoms to solar systems. It's in every cell of our bodies. In Already Enough, I give pictures of this pattern repeating throughout nature and art. But what's important to emphasize here is that this is not just an abstract, interesting idea. That formula, E equals mc squared, has powerful applications for destruction, an atomic bomb, but also for creation. We can personalize the life wheel and make it real in our own lives. We can use it to assess how we're doing, what's missing, what we intend to change, and how to get from here to there. It's a powerful tool. We can use it to bring us back from this fractured, incomplete lifestyle into full alignment with our true, complete nature, the original design of creation. Here's just one picture of what wheel work would look like. And here's a picture of my why, how, and what prioritized within that life wheel. So the answer to the question that I asked in the beginning is this: what all those thought leaders share in common is an intuitive fidelity to that basic pattern. What's the quantum reality embodied in that life wheel? For example, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich formula fits perfectly within that wheel, and so forth. In You Already Are Enough, I show that just as that formula plugs in to the life wheel, each of these leaders' ideas also fit within that wheel, explaining the powerful results that they have achieved. Before moving into the COVID section, though, I do want to just briefly say this. When I was brainstorming for content, the list got huge, and it's because this life wheel pattern meets the Occam's razor standard of greatest simplicity, maximum inclusiveness. It's like wherever you focus that laser beam, it illumines the field. Here's just a list of potential subjects. The MPI standard, motive, purpose, and intent, being aware of what you're doing and why. We've got abundance, magic, manifestation, wealth, change agents, affirmative action, positive action, unity, the United States, conflict, common sense, the law of karma, ethics, creativity, intuition, self-awareness, self-actualization, relationships, narcissists, empaths, interdependence, codependence, cooperation, community, communication, intentional community, education, higher education, paradigm shifts and opportunity, authority, inner authority, conscience, medicine, healing, mindfulness, meditation, codes, the emotion code, the healing code, and stress, the suicide epidemic and its prevention. So if you have any preferences among those topics or any other related subjects you'd like me to address, please comment below. I'll do my best to respond. And please do like, share, and subscribe so we can get this urgently needed information out to a badly fractured world that, for lack of it, is in such deep trouble. So here's the COVID-19 bonus I promised. There are many ways to approach the Book of Change. It starts with finding a quiet place and settling the noisy mind. There's a process for arriving at a question and then an answer. I'm saving those technical parts for later. For today, I'm going straight to the answer I got on March 14th to this written question. What advice does the Book of Change have to offer the general public about the COVID-19 pandemic? The initial answer was 14, self-possession, which looks like this. It reads, great leaders demonstrate the self-possession to remain true to what they know is right, despite all hardships. They act gently but fairly with others because they are unconsciously in harmony with the creative source of power. They express ideas brilliantly. So it seems to me the general public expects leaders to demonstrate calmness, integrity, and fairness. We want them to give us a clear picture of what's going on. And deep down, we want leaders who inspire us. But that was not a single answer. It was dynamic. It had two changing lines that lead to a different outcome. The advice from line 4 is do not compete with others. Use your skills to build. It advises restraint and to avoid careless waste. So I would be concerned that precious time is being wasted, that this crisis is being used by some as a political football, and that its possible resources being mobilized might to some extent be misdirected. Advice from line 5 reads, when you prove yourself responsible, others will trust you. And the shadow side here is that if leaders don't prove themselves responsible and trustworthy, they won't be trusted. But even when there is responsibility and restraint, the second outcome remains frustration. This is understandable. We have expectations that aren't being met. But even more, we need to be aware there's a lot going on hidden beneath the surface. Things are not what they seem. So number 9 reads, external factors you may not even be aware of will cause frustration. New projects will not work out now. This cannot be avoided. Arguing with those who could help will not influence them. Your choice is either to wait patiently or leave the situation. So it seems to me we're in for a waiting game. Getting emotionally caught up in the upheavals that have been set in motion would be counterproductive. And to the extent that worry is a waste of time, rethinking the change that's going on all around us is a better option. So then the next question becomes, where should we turn our attention? For one thing, I would look for the opportunities hidden within current danger, because it's a rule of natural law that in duality, there are two sides to every coin. It's quite possible we've been looking in the wrong places for important answers, and that the Book of Change itself is welcoming the pandemic as an opportunity to reintroduce itself as a way to access those deeper energy and light levels of the light wheel in order to get a better understanding of what's truly going on within ourselves as well as the world around us. Now, this opens the door to a whole new world. And I'll continue this thread in the next video, which I'm calling Blessings in Disguise. So here's what you can expect from now on. Each Thursday, I'll balance discussion with a hands-on reading from different versions of the Book of Change. The plan is to illumine key issues in terms of the life wheel, supported by readings to make the Book of Change increasingly more familiar. Again, feel free to comment below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. And I'll see you again later. Until then, do take good care of yourself.